Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Hypocritical AF podcast. I'm your host, Albert Fig, and we are back with another week of the podcast. I first would like to apologize if you hear my somber voice or if I don't seem as enthusiastic as I normally am. Is that a word? Enthusiastic? Or if I'm just not in the same uppity type of mood. Past week, I would say in general, has been a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. If you know me more on a personal level outside of just the podcasting, you know that this last few days, but the week itself has been a tough one. And I want to start the podcast off first by saying, not even just saying, but uh, la- uh, so so a few days ago, I would say, within the week, we got my family. We had a loss in our family, and more than just a loss, it's definitely more significant than that. But we lost someone who was special to our family, and special to our community, and a local legend, literally. And so this past week we got news that my grandfather, Grandpa Fig, who we've talked about plenty of times on the podcast, has unfortunately passed away. He, for a while, wasn't in the best of health conditions. Wasn't the best, I guess, healthiness. Apologize if I'm stumbling through my words and you see me struggling to convey these things, is because it's still so fresh that I'm still trying to process everything, and also I'm still trying to keep myself composed. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so he wasn't necessarily in the healthiest of times or lifestyle. I don't even know how far back we can go. And I don't want to make this whole episode about that. But I'm just trying to say exactly how I feel, and also give some insight into what all this means. So let's backtrack. So my grandpa, he plays and played and continue even to this day continues to play a big role and a big part in my life. And not just me. I don't want to make it seem like it's about me, but he also has played a big role in numerous people's lives, not just my family, but friends, close friends, family friends, and just anybody who was fortunate enough to interact with him or be around him. So I've lived with my grandpa, like I would say the majority of our lives. So and so I was born in Salinas, right? Salinas, California. I was born there, and lived in Greenfield. So for the people that are in the 831 area, they are familiar with Greenfield and Salinas. After living in Greenfield till I was about sixth grade. Sixth grade, it was me, my two sisters, my dad, and and Antonio was there. I don't know if Santiago was born yet, but Antonio was born, and then we eventually got evicted. We got kicked out, of our townhome, apartment home thingy in Greenfield, and we had to move in with my grandparents. They were living in San Lucas. When I say living in San Lucas, I don't mean like they had been there like a whole year prior. I'm talking about they had just moved into San Lucas too, maybe like a few months, because they were living in Chular. My grandpa lived in Chular, and well, my grandparents, sorry, both my grandma and my grandpa, they lived in Chular, and they ended up moving to San Lucas. So in San Lucas, it's, for those of you that don't know, San Lucas is a very small little place, so Some people don't even register it as a town, which I get, because it doesn't just, they would say it's more so like an extended ranch, like a back road type of little village thing. So they were living in San Lucas, and we end up having to go move in with them. And thankfully and luckily, my grandpa's brought us in, because he didn't even have to do that. My grandparents both, they didn't have to do that. And because they already had my cousins and my tias who were also living there too. So it was already a packed place. So he definitely didn't have to bring us in. But luckily and thankfully he did. So he brought us in, and I was living there. A bunch of other families were living there. My cousins, my tias, everybody was living there. And I just, I've always been, I don't like to say only just me, because I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the rest of my cousins and my siblings and my sisters and my brothers, everybody. And even furthermore than that, not just siblings, but also friends, everybody, for whatever reason, whenever you had the chance to talk with them and engage with them, you felt like you had a connection with him. You know what I mean? So it's easy for me to say, like, I had this special bond and a special connection. It's easy for me to say that, because although I feel like I do, there's everybody else that feels the same way too. And that's a good thing. I'm not trying to compare the two or say, there's levels to it, or there's like a different level of measurements. Everybody felt like that. And, my grandpa did a lot for us, not just even, taking us in prior to that in Greenfield, when we were living in Greenfield. He gave us a lot of help. My dad was in and out. And there was large parts of times where he wasn't living there. So it was just my mom and my two little sisters. And then when my dad wasn't there living there, my grandpa would come and help. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to paint this picture. I don't want to make it seem like my dad was never there and this and that, it was in spots. It was in spurts, So my grandpa a lot of times would come play that role. He would help me, bought me my first bike, went with him on trips. I mean, he's took me to Mexico. We went across 5 states traveling, me and my cousin Junior, not just me. But we went to, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Utah, and did a circle, came back to California. We did that drive with them. And just would interact with them so much to the point where I was just like, I idolized him. I looked up to him a lot. And he would be someone that I like to just be around, even if it was just sitting in the backseat of a car or sitting in the passenger seat, or if it was when he was working and my grandma would go take him lunch, I would just want to go with my grandma in her car to go take my grandma lunch just so I could see him for 10 minutes or whatever it is, just to get the small little interactions with them. That's what I would do as a little kid. And every day when he would get up for work, if I would just so happen to, beat him, not beat him because he was up before me, but catch him before he was going out to work, I would want to just ask, can you take me with you? Because I just thought he was the coolest dude with his jacket and his tools and everything. So I'd be like, let me take me with you, couldn't go because I had to go to school. But I just wanted to be around the guy, And so I'm just giving little small examples of why it felt so special with him. And I moved away when I got out of high school. Right when I graduated, I took off, and been doing everything on my own ever since and taking care of myself. And a big portion of that too was seeing, the environment in which I was living at. I was just like, man, I don't want to continue to live here too. You know what I mean? You got to spread your wings and you got to get out and you got to do more for your life. And he was actually, my grandpa was one of the first people that told me, if you can't stay here. Not kicking me out, but on some, you don't want to be here. Go do something. You got to go, take care of your own and do other things. So, took his advice. And so health wise, he was he had diabetes. He ended up getting his leg amputated. So he had one real leg and a prosthetic leg, which unless you're right there physically touching it or everything, you probably wouldn't be able to tell because he was still active. You know what I mean? His body started to it just comes with age. It just started to like, you know, get away from him and deteriorate. So he started having some kidney issues, some heart issues. He had like 3 stents already. There is just maintenance was there, and it just with age and everything, and we knew, the family, we all knew that this day would come. We all knew that, we were not necessarily anticipating it, but we knew that this day was going to be come sooner rather than later. And I was just talking about it right now too. It's almost like we compared it to, well, I mean, I was comparing it to, like, it's like a reverse pregnancy, right? Like when you go through a pregnancy, from the time you find out, for a fact, more or less, give or take, it's going to be about 9 months. Obviously some sooner, some after, but you're going to have about a 9-month window from the time the baby gets here. And each moment and each time that passes, you're just counting down and counting down and counting down. And there's complications. It gets tougher at the end, And then when you have your due date, even then it's still not set in stone. It's not 100%. It can be sooner and it can be after, but you don't know. And then when you find out, when it happens, when you're about to, give birth, and I'm not speaking for me because obviously I've never given birth, but when you're going into labor, it's just so, like, you're prepared for it, but you're not prepared for it. And you're like, okay, this is happening, and you're just kind of going with emotions and everything, right? It's almost like that, but in reverse. Back in October, November timeframe, we had gotten news that his heart was like on his last leg, like literally on his last leg, and he needed to get surgery. And us as the family were like, okay, he has to get this done. And then he, more importantly, he wanted to get it done. He was like, I want this, like, and they told him, like, Jose, because my grandpa's name is Jose Refugio Figueroa, and they go, Jose, there's the odds of you making it past this surgery are not good. They told him, you're more than likely not gonna survive. There's a big chance that it doesn't happen, but this is what you need. And they were like, hesitant. They're like, communicate it with your family, talk about it, talk it through, and see, if this is something you actually want to do. And he was like, I want to get it done. Like, he was just like, I'm tired. I am tired. I just want to feel better. I want to feel like somewhat like myself. And he kept saying, he's like, I'm not ready yet. Like, he just needs a little bit more time. And so the doctors pushed it back, and they kept pushing it back and pushing it back. But ever since that time frame, from when they first told him back in October, November, I want to say it was November. But since then, we were just like, it was just like on counting down. And you never really, 100% ready. But there was the, that thought and the anticipation of that happening. So it was there. And it's, when you find out, it's just, no one's, like I said, no one's fully ready, and not at all. And as a family, we're definitely hurting. I know, for me personally, I know, like, those first 72 hours after, man, I can't. Those first 72 hours was so tough. It was real. They were really hard. It was a lot to take in, and the amount of the amount of messages that I've gotten, the phone calls. I know I didn't call everybody back, and it was intentionally. I wasn't really looking at my phone like that, and I didn't want to really talk about it, to be honest. But the messages that I've gotten, it's overwhelming from the amount of, like, support, and not just support, but like people that reached out that understood the situation. Like, they knew how close we were and how close he meant to us as a family. Have been, like, really appreciative. And I know I speak for not just me, but like my family, like everybody. We appreciate all the messages and all the phone calls. So those 72 hours, the first 72 hours they're fucking tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard, and not just me. I don't want to make it seem like it's just me, because because I'm talking about it right here, but everybody in the family, they were hard. What changed for me though, why I feel better than what I did, and why, I'm able to sit here talk about it. What changed for me is that this past Saturday, I went to my friend's Josh and Ashley's wedding. Podcast alums, they've been here before. We talked about the wedding, but I went to their wedding, and initially, when this was going on, I had reached out and I texted Josh, and I was just, saying, like, to be honest, bro, he knew what happened, and I was just like, I'm not gonna be able to make this first little meeting thing. We had a rehearsal dinner scheduled, a meetup, the day of the wedding and all this stuff. And I told him, I was like, bro, I can't make it, literally and figuratively. Like, there's no ounce of me that wants to celebrate right now. There's no ounce of me in the moment that just wants to even put on like a fake smile right now, because I just couldn't do it, And the night before, all the stuff was already in motion. We had people coming up to come up and visit. Stuff was already paid for. Stuff was already booked, and I was hesitant, but I was just like, I'm gonna go. It'd be like a good little distraction type of thing, And also, I do want to be there for them too. And I'm really glad that I did, because I went, I was able to change my thought process, and this is what's helped me right now currently. Because I went, I was able to. Getting there was tough, but seeing everybody happy, seeing everybody get ready, seeing older, like older people there, grandparents for sure, seeing other grandparents there happy, seeing the process of, my friends that I've known get ready of all this going down, seeing some of my other friends from school that I haven't seen in a while, watching everybody just be, it helped me. And then I started to change my way of thinking. I went from feeling like really bad and feeling like really down on myself to changing it to then being an understanding how thankful I am. I'm thankful and I'm grateful. I'm thankful for everything that he's done for me. I'm thankful that everything he's done for my family, my extended family. And I'm thankful for all the opportunities that he's given me, the memories that he's given me, the life lessons that he's given me, the experiences, the stuff that he's helped me with. I mean, like, I'm not exaggerating when I say that. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be in the situation, because I can't guarantee you that I would have left. I can't guarantee you that I would have had the motivation to come out here and continue to stay out here, for as long as I have. I can't guarantee you that I even have this house, because if I would have left Sacramento or never even went, none of this would have been here. None of this would have been possible. So I'm just thankful, and then I started to be grateful. I'm grateful that I had him as a grandpa. I'm glad that I had him as a person to look up to. I'm grateful that it was someone that I did idolize, and I'm grateful for the amount of people that he's been able to come apart in their lives and touch them. You know what I mean? It's universally, he's been recognized universally as like a dad to everybody, not just me, but to even my dad said, like, he's even felt like he's been his dad. Friends have been like, man, he feels like a dad to me. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other people that feel like he was their dad, So it was like a universal dad thing to everybody. So I'm grateful for that. And that's what changed in my mind. I started go from feeling down to, man, I'm just fucking thankful. Man, I'm just grateful. Like, what a person, and I'm fortunate enough to call him and to be able to call him my grandpa and to say how much, he's meant to me. And the memories they're always going to be there. And the legend lives on, it just doesn't go away at all. He might not be here in a physical form, but his everything about him still going to be, carried on, and we're going to keep his memories and his spirits alive as much as we can, so Yeah, so that's what the last week was about. And you know, there's gonna it's not gonna be the last time we talk about him on this one too. We're gonna keep talking about him going forward at all times. So that was the last week, and thank you again to everybody who's reached out. I'm sorry if I got back at you guys late, and I'm sorry if I still yet haven't called you guys back, but I'm doing good, and thank you for reaching out. So going back to this past weekend, I went to, again, my friend Josh and Ashley's wedding, and it's crazy. It was I'm like I said, I'm thankful that I'm glad that I feel like I made the right decision on going. I'm thankful, and it was really like it was a cool experience, and it was a cool thing to be a part of, because I thought about, like, mid wedding, I thought about how far we've came. You know what I'm saying? I thought about how us three, meaning myself, Josh, and Ashley, we came to this thing together. We didn't know each other, right? But we came into this thing that we're doing right now, like being here in Sacramento, and this growth and this evolution of being like these fucking young ass kids who, weren't even, like, young ass kids that are just barely trying to figure out, barely removed from high school, or my position, barely removed from the military, just trying to, like, put something together in school and figure it out. And then, they're turning 21 over here. Scraping up fucking cup of noodles, barely having money for anything. Apartments, bouncing, couch surfing, staying at each other's spots, helping each other out. So to now being here at their wedding, it's that journey. It's like, this one, like, literally one of the first, well, like I said, the first month of ever being here in Sac, they were like the first people, like, made friends with, the first month. So it was, there's history there, and it was a good thing to see. And I'm thankful I was a part of it, and I'm thankful that I went. And it was a cool thing to just actually, like, sit down with them, and be like, fucking A, dude, like, look at this. You know what I'm saying? Like they're here, they did this, but like, look at us. And then to stay there and to have brunch the very next day, and all of us sit in the little kitchen area, and we're eating and we're joking, we're laughing and talking about the night before, and just seeing us, we're getting older as ourselves, me as a dad, as a parent, and them, future parents. And and then you're here the next day after their wedding, So it was an interesting time, just to like I said, to take all that in. You know what I mean? To take all that in with everything that's going on back home, everything that myself and my family is going through, and then that, and it's just like a wave of emotions, like that's just, it comes and goes, you know what I mean? It comes and goes, and like I said, it's just changing that to just thankful and grateful. And even, I can correlate it to the wedding too. Just, I'm grateful that I was, a part of it, and grateful that they selected me to be a part of it. I'm grateful that I was able to be there and witness them do their thing on their day, And I'm sure we'll get together with that and recap everything, and do another episode with them, because there's definitely some funny stories, and it was a good time. So that's kind of pretty much been the update. Oh, and good thing is that I got my camera back. That's one of the big things, man. I got my camera back, and so we are back 100%. This, man, it's crazy. I was thinking about right now too. I mean, sorry, prior to recording, how, like, I was in a weird, like, I looked forward to recording, and it was weird because, like, I knew I wasn't necessarily going to be in a joyful mood, and I knew that, like, I didn't necessarily have these crazy topics to break down or go over what just might have happened the week before, like, as far as entertainment goes, or news, or stuff in the world. I haven't really been paying attention to it much. I have been keeping up with the basketball, the playoffs, but I haven't been, like, really on everything else, you know. So I was like, you just kind of figure out what to talk about, you know, coming into it. But I'm glad that, you know, that I can do this, because in a way it's like being able to talk about it right here, and the people listening, if you are, you know, watching or listening, I'm able to break it down more, and talk about it in a different way that I would, let's say, over the phone with my mom, or whether if I'm talking about it with Lily, or if I'm talking about it with just a friend, you know, like right here, I can kind of exactly break down what I was thinking about, what my thought process is, and just thoughts that I had, you know. So this does help, and that's what's good about having this podcast, and having this platform, and then in this aspect doing the solo episodes that I do, because I do, you know, the guest ones and I do the solo ones. But in the solo ones, I get to like just be me, you know, and just talk. And sometimes they're funny episodes, sometimes they're random episodes, sometimes they're rushed, and sometimes you get episodes like this, you know. And it's good. It's good. Like I get to just sit and, you know, kind of break everything down. And, you know, going forward, I know this is gonna be, it's tough, man. That's all I can say. Like it's tough. Yeah, we have as a family, we have like a road ahead of us, a long road ahead of us, and there's still, you know, other pieces that we have to like move around and puzzle together, and there's obstacles already in the way, and, you know, it's like preparing for life after this, you know. It's preparing for life after, you know, my grandpa unfortunately not being here anymore, and it's gonna be tough. Yeah, there's gonna be adjustments made. There's gonna be a lot of changes, I'm sure, and I'm hoping, you know, as a family, that we don't get lost in all of this, you know, because my grandpa he literally was the glue and the foundation for the family, you know. He really was. And I hope, as collectively, like I said, the fam can, you know, still stick together on a lot of stuff. And I hope that we don't get lost in thinking just because, you know, he's no longer here with us, that stops or that finishes, you know. But we still got to be there for everybody. Preparing for life after this, you know, it is although it doesn't seem real still, you know, it's just something we do have to go forward with, and it is something that we got to take a face on, you know. I know it's easier said than done. And then even me speaking about it, living over here in Sacramento, I know it's easier for me to say that because I'm not there, you know. My family is still there. They have to wake up every day and be there, knowing that he's not there anymore. They're right there. And you get to a point where we're so accustomed to just him being there, you know. So I know it's tougher on them, but you have to, you know, prepare for and accept that this is life going forward, you know. And it's you know, I'm sure it's not the only loss in the family, right? We've dealt with losses before, and I'm sure, you know, if you're listening or watching, I'm sure you've dealt with losses before. Everything's an adjustment, you know, but things take time. And you just like I said in previous episodes, you know, you make your adjustments, you adjust on the fly, and you adapt, you know. So I feel like that's going to be one that's, you know, that we're going to have to do and have to take it on our end. And just be thankful. Just be thankful and grateful, y'all. So now that, like I said, the camera's back, now that all my equipment is back to normal, now that we have the motions back, like going forward, you know, in this, I know I did record an episode last week, and that episode was recorded before, you know, finding out about the news, and I put it out. I know I didn't, you know, advertise as much or make the highlights or, you know, do all that thing, all those little clips that I be doing, and, you know, putting it out there like that. But, you know, last week I did do an episode, and not a lot of highlights on that one too. And, you know, for obvious reasons, I wasn't there mentally. And but you know, we're back this week. We're back, and um, you know, the morning of it, you know, the morning doesn't just stop, and we go forward with it in a good way. You know, we carry on the legacy that is my grandpa, the legend. So, like these next couple weeks, got some you know episodes coming out, and still have a project that was already, you know, slated and scheduled that we're still gonna go hit, and we'll blast out everything, all the information when it gets closer, and drops and release dates. So yeah, so I'll close out with this. You know, again, just want to say thank you to everybody who's reached out and checked on not just me but my fam. I hope you are all are doing well too. For those of you who feel, you know, like how we do, I I empathize with you, you know, and we're gonna do, well, try to do, you know, as much right things as we can for my grandpa, and celebrate him, and you know, just do the most. And I'm struggling right now to, like I said, to come up with the sentences fully. And I'm also struggling not to just blast a bunch of pictures right now on Instagram and just put a bunch of photos of us, and not just me, just him, you know, so that way you guys can really see, you know, how much he meant and how much he was loved by everybody, and just to see the life that he had, you know. That's why I say, like, I'm so fucking fortunate to have him in our life as long as we did, and fortunate enough to call him my grandpa. So, you know, if you guys ever met him, or if you had any slight little interaction with him, I think you guys know what I mean on that one. So yeah, everybody, thank you. Thank you for everything. And we'll catch y'all next week. Have a good one, and be thankful. Peace.